Hey, hi, hello, how you doing? Good, good, because I wanted to know. That video from Will was really funny, wasn't it? That turning thing. Classic Will. Um, but if you noticed at the end of the video, they all sort of didn't know which way to turn, right? So turning doesn't guarantee that you know what to do after you turn, right? You just know that you need to turn, so you turn in some direction. Our direction is toward Jesus. Well, the next step on this way of love is learn, and that is how you figure out what you're supposed to do after you turn, right? Which way you're supposed to head on the way of love. So the way that Bishop Curry has encouraged us on the way of love to learn, and the way that we are already learning, is with the Bible, specifically stories about Jesus Christ, right? I was thinking about this, and I remembered a story from my childhood. If I've never told you this, then remember that I grew up in a really enthusiastic church, jumping, shouting, stomping, slapping, screaming. Anyway, they loved the Bible, is what I'm saying. And I got up one Sunday. I don't even remember what possessed me to do this, but I got up one Sunday and I had memorized all the genealogy of Jesus Christ in the first chapter of Matthew. I don't know why, but I got up and they all applauded and cheered. And reflecting back on my experience, I thought, why were they applauding? Were they pumped that I had a good memory? I didn't really reflect on what it meant at the time. I just memorized a bunch of verses. So what was the applause for? Reflection is necessary, right? I mean, I think and that's something that the Episcopal Church has really taught me, that you have to think and digest Scripture. You have to work on that. Being in seminary, that's sort of our gig, right? That's sort of what we have to do every day. But it's not something that is restricted only to seminarians or to priests. It's something that we all should do. One of the things that you're going to do today is you're going to talk about or think about maybe what your favorite verse from the Bible is, or favorite story from the Bible is. And one of my favorite stories, I think, has something interesting to say about learning from the Bible. It's the story of Jacob and wrestling the angel. So that story is in Genesis 32, and it's nestled in sort of like Russian nesting doll, right? Like put in the story of Jacob's reconciliation with his brother Esau, right? They're not really on good terms. He was like, hey, yo, I want some soup. And Jacob was like, I want a birthright. And so they did that swap and regretted it. And then Jacob was kind of shady with his mom later, right? No, everybody's mad at each other. So at this point, they're trying to reconcile. He sends all of his wife and daughters and slaves and belongings across a river, and then that night he sends them ahead to go to Esau, and then that night he wrestles an angel, and it says that the sun is about to come up, and the angel says, first the angel decides to go like WWE, right, and just knock his thigh out of socket and sort of end this thing, because he realizes that Jacob ain't going to give up. And he's like, hey, yo, let me go. The sun's about to come out. I don't know why that was a big deal to this angel, but apparently it was. And Jacob is like, no, I will not let you go until you bless me. And then as a blessing, he changes Jacob's name. He tells him, you are Israel. And Israel means he struggles. The one who struggles, the struggle, stuff like that. And that impacted me a whole lot, because what it means is that, Israel, we know are God's chosen people. And that means that God thinks that struggling is so important to the identity of his people that he's willing to name them the people who struggle. And so I think sometimes we feel that way about Scripture, right? That it's something that you have to wrestle with, that you have to struggle with, and it's hard. But on the other end of it, if we stick with it, there's a blessing. And so I hope that is something that you that you learn from this step on the way of love, and that we reflect on today. So peace, love, blessings. Love you.